The Battle of the Teutoburg Forest, fought in the year 9 of the Common Era, marked a catastrophic defeat for the Roman Empire at the hands of Germanic tribes. This clash, which occurred in the dense Teutoburg Forest, altered the course of Roman expansion into Germania, solidifying the Rhine River as the natural border of the Roman Empire in the region. The battle is often considered one of the worst military defeats in Roman history and had lasting implications on Rome's territorial ambitions. Background: the Roman Empire, under Emperor Augustus, had been expanding steadily into the territories beyond the Rhine River during the first decade of the 1st century CE. Following the subjugation of various tribes, the Roman province of Germania was established. Publius Quinctilius Varus, a trusted general of Augustus, was appointed as governor of this newly created province. Varus, who had previously governed Syria, was tasked with consolidating Roman rule in Germania by imposing Roman laws and customs upon the indigenous tribes. His heavy-handed approach, however, would lead to unrest and ultimately to the disastrous events of the Teutoburg Forest. Arminius and the Germanic resistance. The success of the Germanic rebellion can largely be attributed to Arminius, a chieftain of the Cherusci tribe. Arminius had been trained in Roman military tactics and had even served as an officer in the Roman auxiliary forces. His unique understanding of Roman warfare and his ability to unite the often fractious Germanic tribes under one banner made him a formidable opponent. Arminius, recognizing the discontent among the Germanic people, secretly plotted a rebellion while maintaining the outward appearance of loyalty to Varus. By the year 9 CE, his plans were set in motion. The ambush. Varus, unaware of Arminius' treachery, was leading approximately 3 Roman legions, some 18,000 men, through the Teutoburg Forest to their winter quarters. Varus was misled by Arminius, who suggested that a minor tribal uprising required Roman intervention. Trusting Arminius, Varus took his legions off the main road and led them into the dense and unfamiliar terrain of the forest. The Romans, unprepared for the harsh terrain and worsening weather conditions, became increasingly vulnerable as they were spread out in a long, narrow column. Arminius and his coalition of Germanic tribes launched their ambush, attacking the Roman forces from the dense undergrowth and using the terrain to their advantage. Over the course of several days, the Romans were harried and relentlessly attacked. Their traditional battlefield tactics were rendered useless in the thick forests and marshy conditions. Unable to regroup or mount an effective defense, the Roman legions were slowly annihilated. The outcome. The ambush was devastating for the Roman forces. By the end of the battle, nearly all of the 18,000 Roman soldiers, including Varus himself, had been killed. Varus, seeing that defeat was inevitable, committed suicide by falling on his sword. The surviving Roman officers and soldiers who attempted to flee were hunted down by the Germanic warriors. The aftermath of the battle was gruesome, with Roman bodies left to rot in the forest, and many of the legionary standards were captured by the Germans. Arminius emerged victorious, and the battle became a symbol of Germanic resistance to Roman domination. The victory at Teutoburg Forest effectively halted Roman expansion east of the Rhine River and established the river as the boundary between the Roman Empire and the Germanic tribes for centuries to come. Roman response. The news of the defeat reached Rome slowly, but when it did, it sent shockwaves throughout the empire. Emperor Augustus was said to have been devastated by the loss of Varus and the 3 legions, reportedly exclaiming, "Quinctilius Varus, give me back my legions." The defeat in the Teutoburg Forest forced Augustus to rethink his strategy in Germania. Rather than attempting to recapture the lost territory, Augustus chose to consolidate Roman power along the Rhine. The emperor ordered the reinforcement of the Rhine defenses and dispatched the capable general Tiberius, his stepson and future emperor, to restore order in the region. The Roman Senate, too, was deeply affected by the defeat. The loss of 3 entire legions was a military catastrophe that had not been seen since the Battle of Cannae in the year 216 BCE, when Hannibal's forces had annihilated a Roman army. The defeat at Teutoburg Forest marked the end of Roman attempts to fully conquer and pacify Germania. Aftermath and consequences. The long-term consequences of the battle were significant. The Rhine River remained the frontier of the Roman Empire in the northwest, and no further major attempts were made to conquer the Germanic territories beyond the river. The defeat also served as a rallying point for Germanic tribes, who remained outside the Roman Empire's influence and control. Arminius, hailed as a hero among the Germanic peoples, did not enjoy a long period of peace following his victory. Internal divisions among the Germanic tribes eventually led to Arminius' downfall. He was assassinated by his own people in the year 21 CE, as tribal leaders grew wary of his growing power and influence. Despite his death, Arminius became a symbol of Germanic freedom and resistance against Rome, celebrated in German folklore and later in nationalist movements. The battle also had significant effects on Roman military strategy. Future Roman emperors, including Tiberius and his successor Caligula, refrained from large-scale military campaigns in Germania. Instead, they focused on fortifying the Rhine border and defending against Germanic incursions. The psychological impact of the defeat lingered for generations, and the Roman military became more cautious in its approach to warfare in dense, unfamiliar terrain. Legacy. The Battle of the Teutoburg Forest left an indelible mark on the Roman psyche. The defeat was so catastrophic that the Roman legions lost in the battle, Legio 17, Legio 18, and Legio 19, were never reconstituted. The significance of the battle was recognized in Roman history as a turning point, where the empire, for the first time, acknowledged that its territorial ambitions had limits. Centuries later, the battle became a symbol of national pride in Germany. In the 19th century, during the rise of German nationalism, Arminius, often referred to as Hermann in Germanic lore, was celebrated as a national hero. The Hermannsdenkmal, a monumental statue of Arminius, was erected in the Teutoburg Forest in 1875 to commemorate the battle and his role in resisting Roman conquest. In modern times, the battle continues to be studied by historians as an example of the limitations of imperial power and the effectiveness of indigenous resistance. The conflict between Rome and the Germanic tribes highlights the challenges faced by empires in extending their control over distant and culturally distinct territories. The Battle of the Teutoburg Forest in 9 CE was a pivotal moment in Roman history, halting the empire's expansion into Germania and reshaping its northern frontier. Arminius' strategic acumen, combined with the unity of the Germanic tribes, resulted in a crushing defeat for the Roman legions led by Varus. The repercussions of the battle were felt throughout the Roman Empire, influencing military strategies and imperial policies for generations. Though Arminius' victory was short-lived, the battle remains a lasting symbol of resistance against imperial domination and has shaped the historical memory of both Rome and Germania.